Have you ever wondered why some people fall in love with you so deeply, almost as if they can't resist it? At first glance, it might seem like it's because of your looks, your charm, or your personality. But Carl Jung believed something much deeper is happening. Love, he said, is not random. Behind every strong attraction lies an invisible design, a hidden order created by the unconscious mind. People are pulled toward you not simply for who you are, but for what you awaken in them, what you represent in the secret world inside their psyche. Most of us like to think of love as a sudden spark, an accident of fate. One glance, one moment, and the connection is there, electric and undeniable. But Jung saw it differently. What feels spontaneous is usually the result of forces that have been quietly building for years: old wounds, unmet needs, and forgotten parts of ourselves that lie dormant beneath the surface. Love, in his view, is less about chance and more about recognition. Something in the other person awakens something in us. Each of us carries hidden images inside, pieces of who we are, who we once were, or who we long to become. These pieces often don't live in our conscious mind. They sink into the unconscious, waiting silently. But they're not gone. They come alive again when we meet someone who embodies them, and suddenly, without fully knowing why, we feel drawn. This is what Jung called projection. We project these hidden parts of ourselves onto others without realizing it. When someone mirrors back a quality we've buried, the attraction feels magnetic. Imagine a person who has lived their life cautiously, always holding back their emotions, never daring to be fully seen. Then they meet someone bold, fearless, and unapologetically expressive. Instantly, they feel captivated. But it's not just admiration. What they're really seeing is their own unlived potential shining back at them. The other person carries a piece of their soul that has been waiting to awaken. And this is true in reverse as well. People may fall in love with you not because of the surface traits you display, but because you remind them of something they've lost, something they've repressed, or something they desperately long to grow into. To them, you are not simply yourself, you are a reflection, a mirror of their own hidden inner world. That's why the pull feels so powerful, almost fated. Love, in Jung's vision, is not an accident. It's a meeting of unconscious worlds, a resonance between two psyches. What feels like destiny is really the recognition of buried parts of ourselves in another human being. And when that happens, we are drawn together, not by chance, but by the deep architecture of the soul. Sometimes people fall in love with you for reasons that seem mysterious, as if some invisible force is pulling them toward you. On the surface, it might look like they admire your beauty, your intelligence, or your charm. But deep down, something much more powerful is happening. Often, without realizing it, you represent a part of themselves that has been missing. You embody a quality, a trait, or a kind of energy they have unconsciously longed for but never fully developed within. To them, you are not just a person, you are a symbol, a mirror, a missing piece. A highly logical person might be captivated by someone emotional and intuitive, because deep inside, their own feelings have been buried. An introvert may fall for an extrovert, because that bold self-expression is what they secretly crave. Someone who lives with strict order might be fascinated by someone unpredictable, because a hidden part of them longs for that chaos and freedom. In these cases, the attraction feels magnetic, like opposites pulling each other together. But the truth is, it's not simply about opposites. It's about resonance. What they see in you is something they've lost, suppressed, or never dared to express. The danger is that if they don't realize this, they may mistake dependence for love. Instead of nurturing that missing quality in themselves, they cling to you, needing you to carry it for them. The moment their unconscious need shifts, or the moment your real human flaws break through the idealized image they built, the illusion starts to collapse. What once felt magical suddenly feels ordinary. What once felt like love begins to fade. That is the trap of projection. It creates the appearance of connection, but often it cannot survive the reality of two imperfect human beings. Carl Jung went even deeper to explain this mystery of love with his idea of the anima and the animus. He believed that every man carries within him an unconscious image of the feminine, called the anima, and every woman carries within her an unconscious image of the masculine, called the animus. These inner figures are not random fantasies. They are built from the earliest experiences we have with our parents and are later shaped by myths, stories, and the collective symbols of masculinity and femininity that live in culture and the human psyche. Over time, these images sink deep into the unconscious and become powerful emotional blueprints. Then one day, a person walks into our lives who seems to embody that inner image. The attraction can be overwhelming, so strong that it feels as if we've known them forever, even if we just met. It may feel like fate, destiny, or a soulmate bond. Some describe it as an instant recognition of the soul, as if an ancient memory has been reawakened. The emotions are intense, irrational, and hard to resist. But Jung would caution us, this is not destiny. It is not proof that the universe has tied two souls together. It is the psyche recognizing its own internal design reflected in another person. Being with them activates that inner pattern and stirs deep emotions. This is why the connection feels immediate, powerful, and out of our control. But again, it is not really about them. It is about the symbol they have become in our inner world. And yet, this is also where things often fall apart. When we fall in love with someone because of a projection or an unconscious image, we are not really seeing them as they are. We are seeing a fantasy, a sacred construction of our own psyche, a story written long before they entered our life. For a while, they can carry that projection, living up to the ideal we place upon them. But sooner or later, their humanity emerges. Their flaws, contradictions, and imperfections begin to show. And when reality collides with fantasy, the illusion crumbles. What once felt divine now feels confusing. What once seemed perfect now feels complicated, fragile, and human. This is the paradox of love as Jung understood it. Attraction feels like fate, but in truth, it is the unconscious searching for itself in another. People fall in love not just with who you are, but with what you awaken in them, the missing piece, the hidden figure, the unexpressed potential. It feels like destiny because it touches the deepest structures of the psyche. But real love only begins when the projection ends, when the fantasy dissolves, and when two people are finally able to see each other not as symbols, but as human beings. Two people meet, and in an instant, everything feels alive. The air is electric, the laughter effortless, and the connection almost faded, as if the universe conspired to bring them together. In those first days, it feels like stepping into a dream. Every glance carries promise, every word feels like poetry. The heart races with the thrill of discovery, and the mind insists, this must be love. But as time unfolds, the dream begins to tremble. Small conflicts appear, then grow louder. Expectations clash with reality. What once felt like destiny now feels fragile. The illusion that fueled the fire starts to crack under the weight of truth, and the passion that once lifted both souls suddenly turns into chaos. Carl Jung believed this cycle was not random. In his view, love often begins not with true understanding but with projection. We don't fall in love with the other person as they really are, we fall in love with the image of them that lives inside our own unconscious. We project an archetype, a timeless script buried in the human psyche, onto a living, breathing human being. And no person can embody that perfect image forever. Sooner or later, the mask slips, and the illusion shatters. Yet Jung did not see this collapse as a failure. He saw it as an invitation to grow. To Jung, love was never just a feeling to be enjoyed, it was a mirror, a teacher, a force of transformation. Every relationship, even the briefest, holds a message. Every person we fall for reflects something hidden within us. Some reveal the strength we never knew we had. Others force us to face the fears we try to bury. Some awaken our dormant creativity, while others stir our insecurities. But all of them, every single one, serve the same purpose, to accelerate our journey of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole. When someone falls in love with you, they may think they have discovered something extraordinary in you, and in truth, they have. But the deeper truth is that what feels extraordinary is what you awaken inside them. You become more than a person. You become a symbol, a mirror, a turning point in their inner story. And the same is true for you. Those who shake you, inspire you, wound you, or even break your heart, they are not random. They are carriers of meaning. They come into your life as catalysts for your evolution. Not every love is meant to last forever. some come to disrupt your comfort. Some come to break the patterns you've been repeating unconsciously. Some arrive to teach lessons you've refused to learn. Jung called these encounters synchronistic events, moments that don't follow the logic of reason but hold deep symbolic meaning. When someone appears at the precise moment you are ready for change, and they stir feelings so powerful you cannot ignore them, it is not coincidence. It is the psyche speaking through life itself, signaling that transformation has already begun. Even heartbreak, even betrayal, even loss, all of these are not meaningless detours. They are often the most important chapters. They push you to grow in ways that comfort never could. They strip away illusions and leave you face to face with yourself. They carve scars, yes, but those scars become the marks of transformation. So why do people fall in love with you? Because in you, they see what they desperately need, or they rediscover what they had forgotten. You awaken their sleeping parts. You remind them of who they could be. And the same is true for the loves that pull you in. You are drawn to those who mirror the missing pieces of your soul, those who carry the key to the next stage of your growth, often without even knowing it. The danger comes when we remain blind to these patterns. Without awareness, we become trapped, drawn again and again to the same kind of person, reliving the same story, mistaking repetition for fate. We call it bad luck in love, when in reality, it is the unconscious repeating a lesson we refuse to learn. Jung believed that the way forward is awareness. The moment you begin to see your projections clearly, to recognize the inner figures and patterns shaping your choices, everything changes. You no longer seek someone else to complete you. You begin completing yourself. And from that place, love becomes something new. It no longer feeds on fantasy or fear. The moment you begin to see your projections clearly, to recognize the inner figures and patterns shaping your choices, everything changes. You no longer seek someone else to complete you. You begin completing yourself. And from that place, love becomes something new. It no longer feeds on fantasy or fear. It becomes real, steady,